Hey everyone, Kelly Dean Allen here once again. Today, going to show you how to play Uncle Salty by Tom Hamilton, Joe Perry, Brad Whitford, and Aerosmith. Just a fantastic and underrated track from the band's brilliant 1975 album, Toys in the Attic. One of those rare Aerosmith tracks written by bassist Tom Hamilton, if you didn't know that already. A song that he had in his back pocket since the recording of the first album, but was reluctant to share it with the band at the time. So he sat on it for a couple of years. He also played guitar on this track as well, along with all the bass parts, of course. So one of the real highlights from Toys in the Attic, if you ask me. Regardless, you're here to learn it, not hear me talk about it. Let's close in and get started, shall we? Good then, Uncle Salty, Aerosmith from Toys in the Attic. We are in standard tuning for this tutorial. This one starts like this. So we're using little triads here, starting with an A major triad, 7-6-5 of the D, G, and B, along with the open A string. Now the studio version of this one, they're just strumming those and letting them ring, and then the bass is going on in the background, right? I'm going to kind of play along with the bass. Bum, 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 right? Then you're going to move into a D major triad, which is just a bar on the 7s of the D, G, and B string, right? Bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Into a C major triad, 10-9-8, bum, back to D, and repeat. Into this. So we're just going 6-7 on the D string twice, kind of pedaling off the open A. And then one final open A, 7 of the D, slide out of it. And then we're into the first verse. And you're going to repeat that twice. So now we're kind of reversing this 6-7. We're going to start with a pull off, coming off the open A. Right, you're going to pull that 7 off to 6. And then now you're going to catch these triads on the upstroke, and now you are going to ride along on the open A string on the guitar. Right? So we're going to drop off to a G sharp major triad, 6-5-4, move it back into A. And you're going to repeat that 3 times. Then you're going to move into a C major triad, move it into a D major triad, 12, 11, 10, back to C, back to A, and start over again, right? And repeat the whole thing twice. Then you're going to go off to G for 2 bars. Now, while you're in G here for 2 bars, the first bar that you're in G, it's just single shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to double time the downstrokes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we drop into this. Now we're doing slides. So double hit of the open A. Going to take that G sharp triad, slide it into A. Take the C triad, slide it into D, back to C, slide it back to A. Back to G, double time, and repeat. Into the second verse. Right, and you're going to repeat that twice again before dropping off to G again. Now this time when we go into G, straight shots for 2 bars, then off to F, then off to E, and Then you double time, right? Because that's leading into the bridge. So that's coming out of the second verse. So when we go into G the second time, we're going to hang in it for 2 bars, just straight shots. You're not going to double time. Then you're going to go off to F for 1 bar, straight shots, and then you're going to go off to an E power chord, and that's when you double time. Right, and then we drop into the bridge. We're going to repeat that little refrain 6 times before changing it up a little bit. So we got a little bar here with our index on the 7th fret of the D, G, and B. And we have our middle finger down here on the 8 of the B and our ring finger on the 9 of the G. So you're going to go A, D, G, and then you're going to catch that double stop on the upstroke and then pull it off to the bar. Grab the open A and back to the double stop on the B and G on the upstroke. Catch the open A again, drop back into that, it's an A7 chord actually, back onto that 9-8. And then you're going to ride down the 4 middle strings after dropping your pinky on the 10 of the B. Right? And you're going to repeat that 6 times. And then we're going to drop off to this G5 chord here. 5, 7, 8. And we're going to do this. Before dropping back into the A7. And playing that little refrain one more time before going back to the G5. So when we're in this G5 here, you're going to grab the D string, skip over the G string, and then you're just going to ride up the B, G, and D. And then you're going to play this little melody all going on in the B string. So you're going to keep this 5-7 planted, right? And then you're going to go 8, 6, 5, and reverse. Kind of like that, right? Back into this. Back to the G5. Right? And that leads into the solo. So the solo. That is pretty much the solo right there. We're soloing in A major. Well, it's a bit of a mix of major and minor going on here. Starting on the 4th fret of the G string, little half step pre-release. And then you're going to release it off to 2. Then grab the 3 of the B, little half step bend release. Into this. Sliding into 11, 10, 12 of the B. You're going to give that 12 a little bend and release it off to 10 with a double hit. Now you're going to pick that again and then drop onto 13 of the B and pick it 3 times. Into this. So after we pick that 13 3 times, you're going to pick it again, pull it off to 10, grab the 11 of the G, kind of like that. And then you're going to repeat that 3 times. 11 down to the 10 of the B onto the 13. Kind of like that, right? The 3rd time, after you repeat that little progression 3 times, you're going to catch that 13 twice and then pull it back off to 10 and then grab the 11 of the G. And then grab the 10 of the B, right? Into this. You're going to grab that 13, give it a full step bend, back it up to 12, 2 half step bends, and then release it off to 10 of the B, right? So from the beginning. Finishing the solo with this. And that is how we finish the solo. So we're sliding into 19 of the D down to 17 of the G. And then playing that little lick right there, all going on the 17/19s of the D and the G. Right there, right? And then we finish with this. So just a classic blues lick here, bending that 19, riding down the 17s of the B and the E, right into a full step bend on the 20. Give it a little double pump there. Little bend release off to 17, back onto 20, and that's the end of the solo. Right? So let's take that from the top and then we'll be done. And then we're just right back into another verse. Right, repeat that twice, back off to G, double time, slides, G, straight shots off to F, straight shots for 2 bars, and then we're back into this again. Right, the little bridge refrain that we were playing there. And that just continues until the end of the track. And that, my friends, is how you play Uncle Salty by Aerosmith. Certainly hope you enjoyed that, found it helpful. If you did, please hit that like button right down there. Maybe drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that would be very kind and helpful to my channel. Hope you're well out there, and we'll see you next time, yeah? Cheers.